Wow.
I think we're live. We are live. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Ryan and the Drew, welcome to the show. Correction, Nathan, there is not 9 events. There is one event that matters, and that is the King of the North tournament happening this Saturday in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Now, is that in the hockey arena?
It is, well, I mean, but you got to understand that when you're talking about hockey arenas in Manitoba, it's like a mall. So you gotta, it's in this bar and grill that's in the middle of 2 practice rinks off to the side.
Right.
And it's actually the rinks where the Winnipeg Jets practice sometimes. So.
Oh, you got to send pictures of that, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's an amazing venue. And it's going to be a good time. It's happening this Saturday. I'm getting more and more questions about it. More and more people saying they're coming. We are competing with 100 events.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, man. Like, I'm not sure how many people from the Washington area are going to go to that one anyway. Now, I'm not
even considering the Washington one as competition because it's a very different area of the continent. But then we have, an Alberta one that's right in between Tim's event and my event, essentially.
What they got going on?
Big super match card happening on Saturday, and then Ontario has an event as well.
And isn't the MAC like in a couple weeks or something like that?
The MAC event is the 21st, I believe, of which is 2 weeks after mine, but it's definitely prevented some people I expected from Ontario from coming. So I know there's no ill intentions. It's a super match card. It's a pretty good looking card. If you're a purist of Canadian arm wrestling, I mean, this is the one to see.
I'm gonna ask a question, and this is nothing against the promoter Ian Carnegie, but do we think that 22 super matches for one event is too much?
I think Ian is trying to prove a concept. I think his concept is that his rule set and his table make the matches run so much faster than every other event with a conventional rule set. And from what I hear, it's true. Like the referees that were doing the last event said it was pretty fast. They like burn through those super matches really quickly. The setups are way faster. The rules are looser, but they're effectively looser.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe he does a 3-hour card or a 3-hour live stream, and 21 matches.
There's not. I mean, I bought the first pay-per-view for the MAC event, but I at this one I won't buy this one if it's a pay-per-view. There's just not enough on there that interests me, to be fair.
See, for me, it's a little bit closer to home. All paid.
Which is understandable, right?
I didn't change my mic. I changed my location. The Drew. I'm actually in my office, so I apologize for the echo. Not much I can do about it.
What's up, Drew? And I was talking to one of the ladies that will be on that card. She'll be pulling twice. I talked to Danielle Everson last night. She was on the show, and we sat there and chit-chatted and stuff. And she has a match with, I want to say, Michelle Dugan on one hand, and I think Bethany Ritchie on the other. I have to look that up. Yeah. But
I'm going to pull it up right now.
Yes.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so my brain's not too messed up, but yeah. So talking to her last night, it's always good because I can't tell you how smart she is when it comes to like strength training. Like she knows her stuff, and man, I'm always in awe of her theories and stuff about that. And before you hopped on, Nathan, Ryan and I were talking. I know this is not a prediction show, but she was explaining to me because she has a strongman background, when she stuck her toe in the water of arm wrestling, and how did that change your approach to, arm wrestling, and far as not only that, but is the training a lot different? Do you carry over some of that training from strongman over to arm wrestling? So it was interesting.
I think so. I mean, if you think about like farmer's walk and stuff like that, that has a direct carryover to arm wrestling. You'll see some of the top athletes in the sport doing stuff. I mean, if you go look up any video of Vitaly, you see him doing like 700, 800-pound rack pulls. You know what I mean? Which helps him with his grip. And he's a very hand-dominant he's a very hand-dominant puller. So there are some direct correlations between strongman and arm wrestling.
Here's the deal, you guys. Remember you said it was 22 super matches?
Yeah.
That's not including the preliminary matches where there is 10 of them.
Oh, shit. I thought it was 22 total.
And the six-man round robin on the prelims.
That's a long day.
Lay down.
Jay Clan, we were kind of brushing over Brian Eddie. Our prediction show will be next week, though.
Yeah, and we'll predict this one as it gets closer as well. That's 2 weeks out. 2.5 weeks away for this one in the MAC event.
Lay down.
But, I mean, some of these are. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to a lot of these.
There's a couple matches I'm interested in. There's some that I think are completely one-sided mismatches, but
for example, you're talking about the assessor match.
I think it is.
Well,
I think John could shock people. I like I said, no taking slack off of John. It's just Brandon is going to be. If there's no weight cap for it, holy Jeebus.
I've been seeing his workouts lately. It's like they hurt me just watching it. So, yeah. But I did ask Danielle a question last night. I was, wondering in my brain, when you see those matches, and that's like saying, why do you think you have, and we're talking about her, you got USA versus USA, but it takes place on a different, country. And I'm like going, you couldn't, get any Canadian women on that card.
Not a single one.
It was weird because it's like going, hey, we'll take Ryan Espy against Matt Mass, but we'll have you guys pull in Australia. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I asked her that, and she told me that because when it was, you said December 21st, it was hard to kind of get some of the ladies to commit because of it's so close to Christmas and this, that, and the other. So she kind of told me that's why it happened the way it did. So there you go.
So what do we got this weekend that you want to chat about?
We have Washington State. I mean, there's like I said, like 9 events.
King of the North.
Super matches for Washington State take place Friday evening. Should I read them off to y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's on pay-per-view, everybody, just so we're clear. And it will be $7.99. Pretty affordable, right? I don't know if this is the match order, but here you go. Carolina Pedersen versus Merlene Burquette. Now, I'm going to be in Merlene's corner. So she asked me to be in her corner. I said, yeah, I got you. I'll be in your corner. And I told her that, this could be monumental for her, because if you can squeeze out one pin, and I kind of explained it to her like this. We know Jerry and Levon's coming up, right? Jerry can lose 5-1, but if Jerry gets that one pin, everybody's going to be talking more about the one pin than the actual loss because we ain't never seen Levon get pinned in I don't know how long. I think, matter of fact, we haven't seen Levon get pinned ever since he went to this Supermatch format. I'm talking about top 8 and all that, right?
Yeah, he's never dropped around.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to say to you, Jody.
Go ahead.
If Jerry pins him once, he'll win the match.
Like he'll win the whole thing.
He'll win the whole thing.
Because it'll be down.
He'll not pin him in rounds 5 and 6 because Levon will stop at 4.
Probably he will. That's why he stopped with Hermes. Gassed out and all. Like, all right. How many people can say I haven't been pinned in X amount of years?
No one except Levon in Supermatch format.
Right. I mean, we're talking years. and we've thrown from a North America standpoint, we've thrown everybody at him. We've thrown Devin.
No, we haven't thrown everybody at him. I mean,
to a certain degree.
Dave's tried him. Tim Bresnan tried him. Devin's tried him twice and lost both. All 4 of them have lost. The only 2 North Americans with any clout that could potentially pull him are Jerry
and Michael.
Now,
that's right hand. I'd be kind of interested to see if Corey West got his head on straight.
Yeah, but Mike beats Corey on the right.
I'm talking about if it was a left-hand match. But yeah, you're right. Kind of got off track. Sorry about that. But I was telling Merlene, if you can get at least the 1 pin, but you happen to lose the match, everybody's going to be talking about that 1 pin, right?
I'm looking at it from common opponents, right? They both had a common opponent. Mm-hmm. Catalino Port Elizabeth, and that match was not close.
Right.
Elizabeth beat Merlene. Yeah. Merlene did get a round, but it was pretty dominant from Elizabeth to Merlene.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is not throwing shade at anybody, but Merlene has never faced the type of competition she's about to step up against Cotto. Like, that's a different level.
Right. No, and she's going, like I said, hey, get your head on straight, Then we have Alexander Groot versus Cavani Kim. I know Cavani, this is a local match coming up right here. Some people may not know. Cavani's worked real hard. I think his speed, and he has a lock right here where it's pretty lethal, He's about 185, 190. I don't know if there's a weight cap or not. So, speaking of Liz, she's taking on Katie Hankey. Exhibition left-handed match, So
why are they labeling it as an exhibition?
Is it not for Katie's rank?
No, because they're 2 different weight classes.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
Katie's in an open class, ladies.
Yeah, Liz is 54 and low, but 54 and below.
Right, but I think she's going to start going up in weight class now.
She's pulling Jolene in February, so
exactly. So
she's not.
Now we got some international flavor. David Ingen versus James Wall from Western Europe.
This is another thing. I don't think James. The biggest competition James has faced is Tullier.
Mm-hmm.
Right. David Eggian took silver at WAF at I think 90 or 95 kilos a couple years ago. So that is. That's a big ask right there to step up into that type of competition.
What do you think, SB?
I completely agree with Nathan on this one, as much as I hate to admit it.
I'm going to butcher this name, but forgive me.
David,
hold
on. Before we go into David gave Warzinski at Arizona State, not last year, but the year before, complete hell on the right. It was an absolute. It took everything Adam had to beat David that day, and David killed
the finals.
And David killed everybody on the left that day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So David Eggian is a real problem for everybody around that 90 kilo mark.
Oh yeah,
So and Tom's Rositz is the name you're looking for.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce that. So Tom Rhodes is taking on Paul Talbot.
This is a good one for me because you're going to have a guy that is a pure top roller in Toms versus a guy that is a pure hook puller in Paul.
I always go with the top roller in this situation.
In Toms, this could set up. Paul Talbot did just lose to Varej, right? And Varej is a super match. He's just a stamina-based puller. So
who doesn't lose to Varej?
I think it could set up a match between Toms and potentially what's his name, the champion right now from Georgia at East versus West, or it could potentially set up a Toms versus Varej in the future as well.
Can Varej leave the country?
I don't know, but I said potentially. I didn't say it would. I think it's a good test for both of them though, because Paul is extremely sticky. He's very good with his hand back too. He's strong in a flop position. So,
and then we have Arsen. I can't pronounce his last name, but
Kachakan.
Yes, this is the guy that took second in the round robin earlier this year. He's taking on Bogdan
Stoika.
Why does he put SKA?
I don't know. It's Bogdan Stoika.
That's what I thought. I was like, going, what? So, Bogdan Stoika. What do you think?
I think it's Bogdan's match to win.
I think if Arson can't get Bogdan outside of his shoulder, it's a bad day for Arson. If Bogdan gets that press engaged at all, it's a bad day.
And it's coming too. It's coming.
Because I mean, Bogdan did just lose to Vlad the Destroyer from Latvia, and Vlad just straight outside the shoulder every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Arson beats Vlad either. So I think this is a closer match than Bogdan versus Vlad.
And I can't wait. I'm gonna see it front row. Yes, see it front row. And that's Friday night. Then you got the dual tournament on Saturday.
You got the 98 round robin or 98 airs thing, and then
the Washington State tournament itself. So the 98-pound Super Series from Airs kicks off at 9 a.m. While that's going on, we'll do the registration for the actual tournament for Washington State. And then after that, we're thinking maybe noon, give or take. Washington State will kick off. It'll be on Armed Sports Entertainment. Yes. Be sure. What time is your event kicking off, Ryan?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock p.m. Central. We're going to live stream the finals and the overall. We're probably not going to put up the live stream during the day. They might be running multiple tables to get down to that, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, there's also a big – remember, everybody can go watch the Arm Havoc event too. That'll be taking place super early in the morning before Ryan's event, and Washington State will be at the same time as well.
What is the Arm Havoc event?
Oh, man, you got some awesome matches on here.
Go ahead, Al. Take over. Your turn.
So, sorry, it's December 14th. It's the following weekend. I apologize. So, my bad. But Arm Havoc has 18 super matches lined up. They have some. Let's just hit some big ones here. Victoria Carlson is pulling. Raymond Zantanovich is pulling. Giannis. Carolina Pedersen is going to be pulling left-handed. And then your main event is going to be Tom Holland and Bajidar Simonov.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean that will be right before KOT. That'll be early on in the day, so everybody could watch that prior to watching KOT.
Did we talk about with the Hot Knuckles Up added to their match card?
Yeah, we should.
Let's talk about that.
Which one do you want to start with?
Sonov.
Jordan Sonov.
This is
a big match for Jordan.
Well, it's not a match he would normally see again if it wasn't for Knuckles Up.
Right.
Unfortunately, his situation is he's not going to get any love from.
Well, I mean, being suspended by not in good standing with WAP is. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, he was on East vs. West. What was it, 1 or 2?
Was it 2?
Was he on there? Sonov?
Yeah, Jordan was on East vs. West at one point. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think he's getting back in good standing anytime soon.
I don't foresee that. Same way with Svetlana and Plama Dimitrov.
Yeah.
He can always pull AWC, though.
No, there's plenty of places for them to arm wrestle.
Right.
Yeah.
Going against that list of guys that's tied up with East versus West. And, I thought Free would be one of those guys, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Then the other one's Cody Wood versus
Hellboy.
Matthias Schlitti.
Yeah, we'll just call him Hellboy.
I'm sorry.
I'm wrestling a long time.
Where's he been anyway?
He just destroyed everybody in their Arnold qualifier over there.
Oh, okay. Because I haven't seen him in a while, so.
He was just at IFA Worlds too, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure.
I didn't see it.
Well, there you go. You get to see it in person too, Mr. SB, because you'll be there live and in color.
Yep, I will be there, and excited.
Can I ask a question?
No. Yes.
Why is it that every match that Sarah Bachman tends to have gets canceled? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
You got to ask her.
I want to see her back on the table soon, but every time there's something lined up, it gets canceled. Whether it be Ashley down in New Zealand, that match got canceled. This one recently just got canceled.
I mean, Ashley was supposed to pull Jocelyn too.
I want to see that. Why did they cancel that one?
That was the Challenger Series thing.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
She did just pull some guy.
Yeah.
There just beat some dude in a super match.
Mm-hmm.
Like a ranked guy in Florida.
Really?
I saw her post about taking the guy's ranking and shouldn't she get it? I think she should get it.
I didn't see the match.
Sarah should be ranked in the men's category.
Well, I mean, she has the power to do it, but, and I feel bad because obviously there's a good chance we'll never see her on East vs. West again. So,
yeah,
that's how it is, unfortunately.
Sounds like that's more of a personal choice, though, isn't it?
There's some other stuff going on, too, which,
I know there's a lot of politics in Sweden with going back and forth with those two organizations. But.
I think that's more. I mean, she doesn't compete for Sweden anymore, so I don't think they have a say on what she does, right? So,
well, yeah, maybe not.
Well, still, it's just it's dumb to where why can't these athletes do what they do best and compete? It's just. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole.
Like I said, nobody's telling them they can't. It's just, if you want to go certain places, then you go certain places. But
like Mexico.
Well, let's not anti-vilify these folks because sure they don't say, hey, you can't do this.
Yeah.
They just say, if you do this, you can't do these other 50.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody's saying you can't do anything. It's just your sometimes choice. I mean, it's just like life. Sometimes your choices have consequences, right? So, like me, this one, bending over to pick something up, my back went poof. Consequence for my action.
So,
that's a very, very sugar-coated way of putting that.
Well, you know what? It works.
So, if you sneeze or cough, are you going to pop your back too?
My back's dick from the military, so.
Yeah.
Thanks, government.
So, SB, you got all your awards, everything all lined up and ready to roll, or what?
I do, of course. Yeah, all the medals are here.
How big are those things anyway?
They're good size.
They're about the size of this chocolate frog box.
Yeah. They're bigger than my WAF medal from 2002.
Oh, God. Man. I feel bad.
My WAF gold medal from 2002 is about the size of this charging block right here.
Man. That's
many
embarrassing to have. It's first of all, you don't have too many medals, world medals that are triangle for one.
And they bragged about how much money they made from that world championship.
I'm like, seriously, if you saw that, it's about the size of this.
I don't care. I'd still take one.
Like a poker chip.
Yeah. Like seriously, a poker chip. And it's a triangle. It's like we're talking about the world championship. So kind of off topic, but SB, you arrived in Springfield, Illinois, 2002 for the 2002 WAF World Championships, right?
Yeah.
And you won your world there, right? Tell me your face when you saw the medal. You went, "Oh, okay." Explain that story.
Honestly, it probably never even dawned on me how shitty the medal was until years later when I saw what was being given away at other events. I thought they just had to give away something modest because, they did have to give away 75 of them.
But,
times 3.
But doesn't it carry, it carries a lot of weight, though.
It carries a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
But, okay, here's the way of looking at it. When you come into my gym, there's like a wall of trophies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest and most prominent ones are for the most insignificant events.
Really?
Yes, really. So I have 2 giant trophies in the back corners of my shelf. And people look at them and they think, wow, that's impressive. But they're for the overall at the North Dakota State Championships.
Mm.
Okay. So, not to shrug away the North Dakota State Championships, but they're not, you know, they're not WAFO, they're not Canadian Nationals, they're
not as prestigious.
Not as prestigious. They're not an Arnold's, they're not a Ottawa Open, they're not a Michigan State.
It just blows my mind. You would think something, as Nathan said, we'll use the word prestigious, and all of a sudden it's like going, dude, it's the size of a keychain.
Hey, I'd still put that sumbitch up in my gym with no problem.
Oh, don't get me wrong, because that
No.
logo that's on there says it all.
Yeah.
But you would think that because of the, what you're pulling for, it'd be a little bit more. And then as the years went on, the medals got more colorful, thicker, talking about those WAF medals as the years went on.
Ryan, have you ever thought of framing it with your Canadian national team jersey from that year?
You should.
I
know they give the certificate too, right? Put your certificate in there.
I thought about doing all my golds with something. Like a shadow box type situation.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
That makes it pop a little more too, right? So, for you, that was like one of the, I don't want to say I would say it probably one of the biggest times in your career of arm wrestling, right? Like winning WAF 2 years in a row consecutively is. Yeah. I mean, there's only a handful of people that have done that in the open class. I mean, Pushkar did it 5 years in a row. You did it twice. Didn't Travis do it a couple times too?
Travis did it one time. Yeah. He never went back.
So
Travis won the right arm. He went. The Worlds went to South Africa, and they weren't as well attended. By North Americans as they were the previous year because they're in Ottawa, and the Ottawa one drew people because they were doing the filming of Pulling John at the time.
Yeah, I mean Goodridge did it. Well, no, Goodridge was one of the few to hold right and left at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Cody Merritt has his framed.
Because you did it 02-03 the same year. You did 03. That was the same year Travis won right.
Yeah.
I mean, Pushkar did it 6 years in a row on the right and 5 years in a row on the left. So I mean, if you look at the short list, I mean it's you, Pushkar, Levon, Gennady, and Georgi Svetkov, and Alajan.
I think there's probably
that's some good company right there.
Oh, I would be surprised if Earl Wilson didn't do it at least once.
Earl Wilson won it in 2000, and Mike Gould won it the year before.
I think didn't Earl Wilson pull the trifecta one time where he won
3 golds and a silver.
Yeah, because they didn't start doing left hand until '93 in Edmonton, and that was the year Goodridge won it.
And then they did 2005 drug testing came in, as Jay Clean is pointing out here.
Yep.
And that changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, like, on the left hand, the short list of people that have won it multiple years in a row are you, Andre Levon, and Alajan. So you, Andre Levon, and Alajan. There's only 4 people on the left. The right, it's been done more.
Yeah.
That's
some good company, man. That's why you're in the Hall of Fame, sir.
On the right, you have it's more, but it's not many. I mean, you have Zauer did it. Pushkar, Gennady. That's it. There's only been 3 people on the right that have done it. In the open, the 110 plus. Oh, sorry, and a reef. So 4. Yeah. So 4 on each arm. That's insane. So it's not super common.
Then you're going to see it less and less, I think, as guys try. Well, I mean, you'll see it more to Europeans. A North American doing it now.
There's only been one.
Highly unlikely.
Did we freeze up for a second?
I'm here.
I mean,
Oh, we froze for a second.
There's only been one North American that has won it multiple years in a row, and that's you on either arm, for that matter.
OJ Clean.
I've always wondered this. What problems would, if Andre Pushkar had not perished in that car crash, what do you think problems he would give Levon?
He would give
massive problems.
I think if you took it into account, I think he'd probably be sitting number 3 in the world right now.
Because wasn't he number 1 when that whole thing went down? And then it was vacated, and for some reason, I don't know if it was just given to Levon or whatever the case may be.
So he was supposed to pull at the same event that Devin pulled Dennis on the left. He was supposed to pull Dennis on the right.
Right.
And then Andre unfortunately passed in the car accident. And then top 8 kind of started after that. And that's when Levon just kind of took over.
Yeah. DB, you're talking about Eric Roussin, and he is the guy that runs the Ottawa Open.
Yeah.
So he's around. He runs the biggest tournament outside of nationals in Canada. And there will be years where his tournament's bigger.
Probably next year, based upon location of Canadian nationals. I think it could be bigger.
Aren't you going next year, Nathan?
The Auto Open, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. And there's been 7 people that have held the left and right hand title at the same time. And
go ahead, name them.
Oh, okay. Well, Pushkar did it 5 years in a row. So the first person to do it was Goodridge, and then you had Alan Karev from Russia. Then you had Glauco Pryor from Brazil. Alexei Vovoda did it. Nasir Kalikov from Russia. Then Pushkar did it 5 years in a row. Levon did it in Lithuania. Levon did it again in Turkey. And that's it.
So 7. Okay.
7 people total.
Here is okay. So Pushkar, Dennis had his way with him. The problem I have with this statement, Archdog, is to say that Prime Dennis has nothing for Levon.
How do we know?
We didn't see that.
No.
Prime Dennis is like the version that Devin has pulled. You got late Prime Dennis on the left-handed match where he stonewalled Devin.
Easy.
And then you didn't have Prime Dennis after that.
I mean,
you could see a return to anything close to those years.
I mean, you can't say that because I think Dennis at one point when John beat him in 08 or whatever it was, 09?
Yeah.
That was pretty close to Prime Dennis right then. So, especially on the right. And John handled him in a hook pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I guess you could speculate, but that's all you can do. I still think, like, you had Pushkar and you had a Prime Dennis into the mix with Levon. Levon, most likely in his current form, still kills everybody.
I agree.
But he probably would have taken a little bit longer to get there.
Yeah.
To that comfortable spot of number 1, I mean.
Well, you also have to think, too, like, Pushkar's style is completely different than really anybody else right now in the super heavyweights. I mean, he was just violent.
Yeah. He's got a style.
He was a rage puller.
Got a style that could give Levon some problems for sure.
Yeah, because he could pull anywhere. Pushkar could. He could hook. He could top roll. He could press. And he's going to hit you and keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you until
he's going to hit that bullseye.
Nathan, we got James Clark says, wait, Dennis wasn't close to Prime.
I didn't say he was. I said he was still one of the strongest human beings on the planet, bar none. In Armwrestling.
2013 is what Dennis considers his best year.
That was the year he toyed with Devin on the left.
And Levon was not.
He was still pulling.
He was pulling last though.
Yeah, he was pulling 110, and he was only walking around at what 300 pounds then too, probably.
Yeah.
Because that was back when he was losing to Gennady and he lost to Saban Badalescu, and
yeah.
So, I mean, granted, that was tournament format, not super match. I mean, he didn't really come into his own in super match format until the top 8. When he beat Dave, he beat what's his name, Dmitry Trubin.
Did he pull Vitaly then too?
Yeah, Vitaly Letin, Tim Bresnan, Peter Younger-Bayev.
That's Jody's favorite arm wrestler, Trubin.
Hey, that's a bad dude. I mean,
he's so bad. Where's he at now?
He got hurt at the last Russian event by the guy that pulled Irakli last.
So he tried to make a comeback?
Yeah, he was pulling those tournaments in Russia that were given big paydays, and he got in the overalls with what's the guy that just pulled Irakli, and he got injured.
Hey, SB, highlight this question. I think Nathan can probably answer this more. It says, can someone tell me why, when in the straps and a foul is called, why they remove the straps, let the competitors have a break and restrap? Why not keep them them at the table and still strapped up?
Because the rules state that you get 30 seconds after a foul is committed, as long as the foul is not in a losing position, to come out of the straps and get a restrap. That's what the rules state.
I.e. Chance versus Devin.
Yeah, it's a written rule in WAF, IFA, pretty much all of your major places. If a foul is committed, as long as it's not losing position being deemed between the height of the peg between the pin pad, so that like roughly 2 inches, as long as the foul isn't committed there and like super strict tournament format, then you're allowed to come out of the straps. And like for me, like I'll do it on purpose, not in a losing position, because I want to restrap to try something different in the strap and the setup. I mean, anybody that is doing that, it's called a professional foul. It's smart.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you're cheating. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Thank you very much, sir.
We have
act like you haven't done it.
If the two competitors agree to just leave it, they can leave it.
They can, yes.
Yeah.
But most people are going to take that 30 seconds to flush a little blood out of their hand or their arm and then go back at it.
Yeah.
Hoping they get a better wrap.
Oh, yeah. Like if I get the strap ridiculously tight and I don't want it that tight again, I'm going to try something different the second time.
Yep. It's all, how you perceive things, so.
Like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So try something different.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I see arm wrestling matches and everyone's like, he's just doing the same thing. It might look like he's doing the same thing, but he's a competitor. I'll use Ron Bath versus Peter Kajczak.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ron tried different stuff. Ron just kept doing the same thing. But Ron was trying different things in that match.
Peter was just so strong, there was nothing Ron could do.
Yeah.
Speaking here, what's up, Cody? Welcome to the show.
Cody Merritt.
Best mustache in arm wrestling.
Now, is Cody going to qualify for the honor? That'd be interesting because they got a left-hand class now, Cody. Archdog says, should they change some of the rules? Or wait, should they change some of these rules because they are not tournament rules and we are doing super matches now?
Why? The same thing. They're using modified, like if you look at East versus West and KOT, they're using modified WAP rules. So they're still using a lot of the same rule sets. The only differences you're really seeing between East versus West and WAF is you're seeing they got rid of the ready go to the don't move go. They've increased the elbow pad size by 1 millimeter on each side. But everything else, I mean, I know there's no such thing as a foul in a losing position or an intentional slip in a losing position. All slips go to straps. So, I mean, the rule set is still 99% the same. It's just there's that 1% change.
Yeah. If you want to look at the extreme example of rule changes, I would suggest looking at the MAC rules because
there's a lot.
They have managed to save a tremendous amount of time. And now they've got 30 some super matches coming up to their event. We'll see just how quickly they can run it. But I think
it's the same thing as WAL, right? When WAL changed the rules, it was for efficiency of tournaments and stuff like that. So that's when you went to the running foul. KOT uses a running foul.
Yeah.
So,
well, and if you I might be misinterpreting this, but my understanding is if you're getting anywhere even remotely close to a fair grip, even if it's carved in a little bit, the referee will say go.
Yeah, the new rules for WAF now state that this technically, it doesn't have to be straight to the short ends of the table anymore. You can still be straight wristed and still, if you both of you want to start in this position, it's completely legal now. It does not.
As long as you're not like this.
Yeah. So because it's pretty much impossible to get two people that primarily hook to start, like this, like a top roller would want to start. They want to start semi-knifed. So.
Yeah.
Yes, Jay Clean, lots of clownery going on.
We were talking earlier about the Eddie Hall Brian Shaw match.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know we're not going to do predictions till next week, but should we talk about that match a little bit? It sure is getting built up.
I enjoy the build up. I like. I'm intrigued with the Eddie Hall build up because, and if you want to see it, Neil Pickup's taking him under his wing, and he's broken everything down into episodes. And I think they just released episode 6. You can find that on Armwrestling channel if you're a member. Check it out.
Okay, I'm gonna catch some shit for this one. I don't even care. If you ask me who I would prefer teaching me to arm wrestle, Devin or Neil Pickup, I'm taking Neil Pickup all day.
Well, but he's right there in his backyard. It kind of makes sense, right?
No, if like all things being equal, like if they were equal distances apart, and you said you can pick A or B, I'm taking Neil over Devin. Because here's why. Neil, to me, is a far more technical arm wrestler than Devin. Mm-hmm. A significantly more technical arm wrestler. And I think for Eddie, he needs the technical aspects. He's going to be strong. Same way with Brian, they're going to be strong. But I think having somebody like Neil teaching him transitions from A to B, B to C, C to D, and how to get into those positions being a less advantageous puller, because Neil's never been the biggest guy in his weight class, never had the biggest hand, never – he's always had some disadvantage to people he was pulling. I mean, if you look at the way he pulled Michael Todd, he was significantly smaller than Mike at the time. He's always found a way to adapt and overcome. So, he's never been super physically gifted like some people are. So that's why I think having somebody like Neil in your corner compared to somebody like Devin, who has been blessed with physical attributes to arm wrestle, hand size, lever length, height, so on and so forth, I think it's more advantageous.
Because I'm telling you, the way he explains stuff, like if you, how can I say this? Okay, look at it this way. If you were a arm wrestler who first got into the sport and want to know the ins and outs of the sport and how to do things correctly, if you watch those episodes, you ain't got to be there in person. Just watching that, you like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. And yes. I got to make sure from a technical standpoint, we talk about, he breaks everything down.
The same way as like Giannis.
Yeah. What's that?
It's very Giannis-esque, right?
Yeah.
Like
he could actually take those series, sell them as a arm wrestling instructional video.
Brian?
Yeah. You want my opinion on that?
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I agree with everything you just said. I mean, no matter what I do, it's like, oh, you're going to hate that and blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, Neil is a legitimate coach in arm wrestling. He's more of a student of the sport, and Devin has found, his table IQ is incredible.
Yes.
It's based on the tools that he has in his toolbox. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Brian will learn a tremendous amount about himself, but you may see, him pull a lot like Devin.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the other thing. all things being equal, the fact that these guys have only been training for this for a limited period of time, I don't think it makes a difference on who their trainer is between Neil and Devin. I think the fundamentals remain the same. Now, if we're talking about 3 years of training, yes, Neil would be the guy. As far as 3 months of training, probably just about equal.
Yeah, it's limited.
Yeah, unless one guy is incredibly more coachable or more invested, and I think that Archdog said this pretty well. That's the part about Eddie seems like he's got a foot in the door and Brian's already in the room. So I like that. I think Brian is showing that he's probably going to stick around arm wrestling for a while. And but that being said, I think that means it's also important that he wins.
Yeah. But as Espy and I were talking before you hopped on, Nathan, and before we went live, it was like it's just like a one-off because we've had other strength athletes venture into our sport. Larry Wills, Khaled.
I mean,
Mufu, whatever.
I don't think you can put Larry in the same category as Khaled and Juji. I mean, Larry took the time to learn. Larry became a good arm wrestler and was giving people really good matches. So I think Larry is, I don't think you can group him in the same circle as those other people.
Larry actually went and won the tournament.
No,
true.
I mean, he won Arizona State and then pulled Saunderson overall, right?
Mm-hmm. He won that Australian event, didn't he?
He competed. No, he didn't win over the top. He ended up losing it. Lachlan won it, but I mean, he did do well. I think he finished top 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Top 3 or top 4. So, which is saying something because there was hundreds of competitors there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob Anderson asked the question: would you like Ingen as a coach?
Absolutely.
Now, I had Ingen as a coach for a period.
Uh-oh. What was that face for?
Who, me? My back popped.
Oh, okay. I thought you were reacting to me.
No,
I was like, oh, God.
No.
Like, holy shit. You did not approve of that. And he's good. He's really good. I used him primarily as a strength coach, not as a technical coach, because Ingen knows, I'm wrestling 25 years at that point. He can tell me he's not going to try to teach me how to be the top hook puller in the world. He knows how I pull. So he's going to do things that complement that. Now, if it's somebody that's brand new, that's a different story.
Yeah.
You can mold them, but, also a good coach. Do they try to get you to do things by their choice, or do they gauge what your natural tendencies are and go from there?
Yes.
It's the same way with Giannis, right? Like Giannis and I have been on the table together several times, and Giannis is my coach. So we tailor things to the style in which I'm more accustomed to pulling, but we also work on weaknesses as well as what everybody should be doing. So,
yeah. I mean, you take all the coaches, Coach Ray, Giannis, Ingen, Neil. I mean, the list goes. You can't go wrong with either. But depending on what your style is, let's just take those 3 guys I mentioned. If you take Neil, Giannis, and Ingen, right? And let's just say they're trying to teach you how to top roll. Okay?
Oh, you're in good company because all 3 of them are very good top rollers.
Right. But then my point being is like you're having a hard time trying to figure out the top roll, but some way, somehow, one of those 3 is going to say something in a vocabulary phrase to where you got to go, oh, I get it now. And then the light kicks on. See what I'm saying? Like, it all depends on verbiage, how you word things, and it's like, oh, I get it now, and that's all it is.
Well, I think, Ryan, you put it best too. It's like who's easily molded, right? Like, which person is more receptive to the information they're being given. So I think that makes a big point. That makes a big difference as well. I think
that's a good comment.
Well, I think every arm wrestler could. Every beginning arm wrestler needs somebody like a Neil. Like I've pulled with Devin. I've had conversations with Devin about arm wrestling, and like he knows. It's not that he doesn't know what he's talking about, but like Devin has, like I said, like Ryan, you said too. Devin has natural attributes that other people just aren't going to possess, right?
Yeah.
Like you take somebody like Ingen, who was what 70 kilos, 65 kilos, and was beating guys 100 kilos, and he wasn't doing that because of they weren't good arm wrestlers. He was doing that by using this more than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true. That's good. Can't argue with that.
You gotta remember, like Ingen has a gym where he just trains arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like that's there's like a curriculum. So it's
Kazakhstan's the same way, right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cody Merritt says Brian would benefit from having Bob Brown. And there's another one, too.
I completely agree with that comment. Bob Brown may have the most technical mind for arm wrestling when it comes to, let's say it's a 50-50 match. He's the guy that could tip it one way or the other with a few comments or advice.
In
a few angles.
Yeah.
I think you see that too with, like, I think Giannis has that same effect. If you watch some of the people he's cornered at East versus West, they'll be down or something. He's like, hey, do this or go this, attack here. I mean, he's did it with Saunders when Saunders pulled Pablo, right?
Yeah.
Like Giannis said, hey, make this adjustment, or he did it with Chance, make this adjustment. Look what happened. The outcome was completely different.
Yep.
So just having a person with the knowledge that they possess. I mean, Ingen could definitely do it.
That's why I hate playing against someone that has Bob Brown in their corner.
Well, I mean, if you had a match coming up and your opponent was training with Bob Brown, you would try to counter that by going, okay, if that means I got to travel outside my country to get some training and build a camp, so to speak, to get ready for this match coming up, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
I think we all kind of do that to a certain degree, whether it be video, in person. Nathan, you know this, so to get ready for a match, and you communicate somehow, right?
Oh, 100%. Like when I have something coming up, we completely change. We have our general strength programming that we do when there's nothing on the on the horizon, and then when I know I'm like 8 weeks, 10 weeks out, I'm like, hey, I have this in 10 weeks. Everything shifts to being solely focused on tapering for that day. So,
yeah. So, I don't know that I would say that I would go out of a country to train, but I would definitely have to develop something that wouldn't be shown normally in any footage of me.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I don't do either. Is I don't put footage out.
Well, I'm not talking about even training, but if there's enough footage of me arm wrestling that there's no surprises.
And we've done stuff over line too. You can get a stock load of highlights or matches of yourself and say, hey, I want you to train me via satellite, whatever.
Yeah.
And here's what I do. What can you pick out the flaws that I have to correct that so I can get ready for this upcoming match or whatever?
Well, Jody, I mean, you asked for advice on how you would pull a certain person, and I sent you a video.
Yeah.
And by golly, did that work?
It did. It did. Thank you again, by the way. Yeah.
Hey, how would you go about this? Oh, I would do this. This is how I would approach it. All right, let me try that. But well, shit, it worked.
Sometimes you got to be careful because I see the way I approached you with it and the way you sent different. I'm like, okay, it worked. Not everybody can do that because some people would tell you what they would do. Doesn't mean that you can do what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it completely does.
Yeah.
Now, I once said to Devin, what would you do at an event we were at? Which fell within that period of time. He claimed I was talking shit about him, by the way, but that's a different story. I asked him, what would you do? And he said, I don't know, I'm not you. And it was smart for him to say that. But it also told me that he's an expert at training himself, not necessarily analyzing other people to be in that position to win, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, reading ZBs here. Brian has had Devin down twice. If he didn't understand him or understand what he was being told, he wouldn't have asked him back. Well, ZB, that's interesting. I don't necessarily think he doesn't understand it. I just don't. It's such an unknown. Like, you have a limited amount of time to get ready. How advanced has he been going?
I mean, you only had 6 weeks, if you think about it, really.
We could have a complete mismatch here for technical reasons. Yep. And I'm not saying it's going to be one way or the other, but one of those two guys could just absolutely dominate the other one technically. And
Here's a bigger question.
I don't know who to pick.
I don't either.
I'm not picking because I just, I want to see it. I want to see it to where I hope it's a good match.
Yeah, with zero.
My question is
on the match:
is Devin and Neil going to be there in person to be in the in their corners? Okay, see that's interesting.
Devin said he's driving in from Ottawa, and Neil's flying in for the event. So
well, it's a drive now. They moved it across the country.
No, it's in
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Isn't that a drive from Ottawa?
No, it's like 8 hours.
Oh, that's a drive.
I mean, it's not terrible. What it would have been for Vegas.
Well, you guys dealing. Hey, Ryan. First of all, you guys deal things in kilometers. We don't deal with kilometers. So
he understands hours.
I understand hours. That's about 800 kilometers.
Yeah, 8 hours, 600 miles.
See how the metric system lines up?
We don't deal with that.
I can. Don't worry about it. I got you, Ryan.
Jake Clean. Brian also gets a fuck ton of views when Devin shows up. He get a boost, but I don't think Brian is, hurting for views either.
No.
It would be mutually beneficial, put it that way.
Oh, agreed.
I will say this though, it's going to be interesting after, depending on what happens in match 1, whoever wins, I want to see that coach make the adjustment and see what they can do.
This is one of those matches where you can see a shift after the first 2 because somebody getting exhausted.
100%.
Maybe.
I'm interested. I know why they're the co-main event.
Well, yeah. It means Levon and Jerry for the main event. Why wouldn't?
Well, I mean, ahead of like legendary guys like.
Or I mean, even the huge ladies match between Barbora and Gabby.
Barbora, Gabby, you got Hermes on there. You've got
Hermes isn't on.
He's not on there?
No.
I thought he was.
No.
And then we got
he's isn't Hermes pulling Michael like in February?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have Marcio and Matt.
Marcio and Matt.
I can pull the card up. Hold on.
And Michael Todd, I think in one of his podcast shows, he mentioned that the winner of him and Hermes takes on the winner of Levon and Jerry. So there you go. It's like a 1A and 1B. It's like a semifinal type deal, Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Vitaly's getting the shaft a little, but Vitaly.
Yeah. James Clark, I agree with you. Gabby and Barbora as co-main. This is basically for the number 1 spot in the world for female arm wrestling.
No, it is the number 1 spot.
Well,
ain't no basically. It's legit.
Basically number 1.
I mean, so the first match is Palco versus just Joe Moranto. Then you have Paul Lynn and Crosby, Corey West and Tobias Sprong on the left, Mask, Barbosa, Lachlan, Lars, Dave Chapey versus Gabor, Saunders and Rustum. Saunders is looking insane right now, if y'all haven't seen him as of late. Then Gabby, Barbora, Brian and Eddie, and then Jerry and Levon.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I hate to call it a gimmick match, but it's kind of a gimmick match.
Out of those, yeah, it's the only one that's not. It's not nobody. I'm not trying to like shit on either one of them, but compared to everybody else on there is an arm wrestler, whereas you have the 2 strongmen going at it.
And we'll find out maybe if one of them's an arm wrestler someday.
Yeah, put him up against Magnus. I'd like to see him. And then I wonder pull Magnus.
What?
Why not?
Magnus Samuelson?
Yeah. He was a legit arm wrestler.
He's like 60.
So I'll still bet he could probably beat either one of them right now.
He retired from strongman and didn't he retire in the 90s?
Yeah. I mean, he's the reason there's no arm wrestling in strongman anymore. Well, it wasn't him. I mean,
Well,
Mega Man broke his own arm, let's be honest.
yeah, he was in the break arm position for a significant period of time.
Yes.
And had a qualified referee been there, that would not have happened.
I agree. That's why I said it's not Magnus's fault.
Yeah.
That was Nathan Jones. He broke his own arm.
Yes. He went on to have a wonderful career
Acting.
in WWE for a short time.
Now he's a big-time actor.
Well, he's an actor.
He's played some big roles in big movies. Well, I mean, so did the center from the Dallas Mavericks. So
Okay.
Boban.
Tell me one big role from one big movie that Nathan Jones has played.
He's played in Troy.
Don't say big part. That was 30 seconds.
Okay.
Brad Pitt stabbing him in the neck.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Don't remember him being in there.
He was in that. He ripped an engine off and threw it at Tom.
Well, that was impressive.
Yeah.
So he was in the Mad Max movie.
Bane. Well, which Bane are we talking about? If it's that Batman one with Arnold in it,
No,
that was Jeep Swenson.
No, we're not talking about that one. So he has had some big roles that I'm sure paid well. I'm sure Matt.
Big roles like Kevin Nash gets big roles.
Hey, he played the Punisher. He played the big Russian.
The Punisher.
He played the big Russian. Yes,
I said
I meant in the Punisher. My apologies. Yes, he played the big Russian in the Punisher. Hey, Kevin Nash had one of the most iconic roles ever. Thank you very much. He played Super Shredder in the Ninja Turtles movie.
True.
Oh God.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's iconic right there.
Did you know that he was in, I believe, Hamlet on Broadway?
I could see that. I mean, so did Andre. He was in The Princess Bride, so.
There you go.
That's a big role.
That is.
That was a significant role in that movie.
Yeah, but when you get Terry Funk and Over the Top, there you go.
Oh, Josh, I disagree with you, my man.
What do you say?
I really do care about the Gabby and
Whoa.
That's a huge match.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is. You take that back, sir.
Now, okay, so you're also talking to us three guys who are arm wrestling purists. So when we see that kind of stuff, you got to look at everything as a whole. This is a rematch. This is where Gabby lost her title and she wants to regain it back. I mean, there's a storyline, with this match coming up.
And it's not an easy hill for Gabby to climb, because when it comes to physical advantages and disadvantages, Barbora has every physical advantage possible in this match coming up.
Well, she's a giant.
She is.
I still pick. We're making predictions next week, but I'm still picking Gabby to reclaim number one. I'll say it, and I'll stick with it next week too.
I'll take the opposite.
I'm not going to we'll wait till next week.
Your picks lately. Oof.
Hey, why didn't we predict off Washington State?
I just forgot, because this is my last week of working graveyard, so I'll have my schedule shifted starting Sunday, working day shift now. So,
all right. Well, I'll see you guys next week. I have to make a phone call. So.
Well, we got to adjust our schedule for next week, is what you're saying, Jody.
Just let me know.
We might have to do a show.
You know what? No, I take that back, because I work days, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., but my weekends are Tuesday and Wednesday. So, no, we're good. We're good.
All right. I was going to say, just text me. I'll be on.
Okay.
See you guys next week.
All right, everybody. It's that time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week.
Washington State, Arnold qualifier.
King of
Manitoba, Arnold qualifier. We'll let you guys know what happens next week.